Hey everybody, it's Chase with AVA Pop Culture again, and today we are here because it is a big day in physical media. We finally have the Terminator on 4K, but the question is it another Cameron mess or a Cameron masterpiece? We're going to dive into it, so pop that tape in. I got you. Let's go do this. All right, so the Terminator, first of all, I'm in the camp that I don't actually believe like true lie. I have a whole series of videos on 4K reviews from a filmmaker and editor's perspective and all that kind of stuff. I don't believe that True Lies is the mess that people think it is. Terminator 2 has problems because they use the wrong scan, which I don't even know how you do. They did like the 3D version that they upscaled to 4K. I give you that. I did a whole video about why most 4K reviews are wrong. You should check that out. I'll try to link it. Explain why a lot of the things in True Lies are probably the way they are, and a lot of things in 4Ks are the way they are. But I have been looking forward to this. I got the Steelbook like back early on in my channel. I got the word on this early, put it out before I heard from a lot of people. And I was so excited to get this just last night that I popped it in, watched it, and began working on this 4K review. And we're going to get to that in just a second. Let's take a quick look at it. So I got the Steelbook version here. Pretty cool artwork there, but I got the Steelbook version, and it is a pretty minimalist thing here. I got a digital code, but I'll probably use that or give it away later. And then inside, it's just a one disc set. Got a little bit of artwork in there. It's got the J card with it, which I keep a box for all my J cards. It's light on special features. It has a Creating the Terminator, visual effects and music, the Terminator closer to the real thing, Unstoppable Force, the legacy of the Terminator, and 7 deleted scenes. I don't know that any of those are new or what's new, but it's very limited on special features. They played through as I was working on this, and they went through them pretty quick. It does have Dolby Atmos, and it has Dolby Vision on it, so you do have that. And that's kind of it, is get through pretty quick with just taking a look at it. Now, the question is, how does it look? And does it look better than the Blu-ray? Well, I have this cool VHS slips cover for my Blu-ray. But does it look better than the Blu-ray? Definitely looks better than the DVD. I did a side-by-side comparison of some scenes in here that I think point out this is way better than the Blu-ray. Way better than the Blu-ray. And I'm sure you at this point you have people that are just James Cameron haters. It doesn't matter if Jesus Christ himself said, hey, this is exactly how you do a 4K. People would find something wrong with the way James Cameron did it. It doesn't matter. So we're going to get into this, and just a little bit of a disclaimer. When you see side-by-side comparisons, it is me taking my 4K 10-bit raw 4K camera here, not my cinema camera, but another camera, and recording my 4K screen. Now, this is my budget QLED screen that I'm reviewing this on this time because I was doing it late and didn't want to wake everybody up. So just so you know, things are likely to look a little bit different. I don't change any color, anything. What you see is what you get coming off my TV. But things are probably going to look better for both of them overall, particularly the 4K, because sometimes when you record a screen of a screen, highlights can get blown just a little bit. But it is for visual reference. And if you can tell a difference even under those circumstances, and then compressed up here to YouTube, compressing it down even more, then the difference is going to be really vivid when you get it on an OLED and you get it right in front of your eyes. So this is just for a comparison to give you an idea. I'll set the Blu-ray down. Now, the first thing that I found out with this is, yeah, there might be some scenes that have very light DNR. And I mean very light, because you're going to see some scenes in here as I'm pointing out, and I may cut to them back and forth. If you go frame by frame, slow motion, you can see all the grain still there. Film grain. And this is even in a daylight scene, and you're seeing film grain. You're going to see some spots where I point out where you can legitimately still see the film grain, and quote unquote, it's stable and all that. You can see the film grain. It looks like it's been cleaned up. And to borrow a phrase from my buddy Brian over at the Last Movie Standing, when he was talking about the American Pie 4K from 88 Films, it looks like somebody turned the lights on with this 4K. There is so much stuff with the Blu-ray that is so dark, it is lost. And you're going to be able to see right here the opening sequence of this movie, where Arnold appears, where the old African American guy is driving the garbage truck, and the blue lightning hits, and Arnold appears, and the fog is there, and the iconic, image here, where he raises up and it's foggy and everything else, and then he does the slow head turn. We're going to spend a lot of time looking at that head turn, because there is a lot there. It just looks like somebody turned the lights on. You can actually see detail on this poor man, this poor actor that's in that's driving the truck. Like, you've never been able to see him in detail before. He was kind of lost, and everything gets soft and mushy on the Blu-ray. You can see it on here. You can actually see it. The colors are more vibrant. It is definitely sharper. There's still film grain there. It does a good job of adding the blue lightning working in with the 4K resolution. I think, and we're going to see as it scrolls through here, there might have been some little tweaks of little cuts in there, because it doesn't line up exactly always. It jumps off and back on between the two videos just slightly. And it can only do that if they tweaked it a little bit, just like some frames here and there of more lightning, less lightning, different stuff like that. But it looks like somebody turned on the lights. You see so much more detail. And then when we get to Arnold's face here, when he stands up and he raises up and it goes to his face, there'll be some spots where I cut to where I was actually talking, looking at the TV. But just so you know, like, when you side by side look at these, first of all, the 4K is definitely brighter. You can see more. You can see more detail. And when I say you can see more detail, like, you can see the little peach fuzz ear hairs on the 4K in Arnold's ears. You can see the very fine lines he's getting under his eyes at that point. You can see little peach fuzz hairs on his face up here that are going down into like what would be his beard area, but they're up here. You can see individual hairs of his eyebrows. You can see his eyelashes sticking off individually. When you look at that same part, you can see the sweat glistening off of him. But when you look at that same part in the Blu-ray, it's just kind of muddy. It loses all that detail. I mean, you can't even see the real detail of the line of his ear, much less the hair. You can't see any of these hairs on his face. You don't see the sweat the same way. The eyelashes just look like it's like a clump of shadow hair sticking off. You can't see the eyebrows. And it's just overall darker and duller. And when you just sit here and look at that, if you had nothing else to grab onto to tell you the difference in quality of the 4K versus the Blu-ray, Just watch that opening sequence and watch his face right there. That will give you an idea of most all that you need to know about how much better this is. And you still see film grain in it. You still see film grain in it.
This is the Blu-ray. You can't see everything the same way. It just mushes away here. Blends away. You can't see the wrinkles, the fine lines in his eyes, the individual hair. Let's see how it is when it comes into the most light. See, you never can. See, you can't see all this detail right here is lost by comparison. You could see his individual eyebrow hairs. You could really see his eyelashes sticking off. You could see all the little white fuzz on his face here. Like peach fuzz. You can't see it in the Blu-ray. And this is with a 4K player that's upscaling it, that's enhancing the picture. Your TV's probably enhancing it too.
I've already saw somebody that said, oh, he used AI again. I pixel peeped somebody in the back crowd somewhere and it looked like an AI face. I didn't see that, but I'm not going to spend my life hunting, pausing and walking up to my screen to look and see if some random person in the distant background was AI enhanced, trying to gain detail in the background of a scene. Man, if that's what you're doing, you're in this for the wrong reason, and you're just setting yourself up to be fucking miserable. Because who on earth's doing that? Like, and why would you ever do that? Sometimes AI is used to gain detail in the backgrounds that was lost because of old film, because of filming techniques, because they film with a Super 35mm camera, all that kind of stuff. And it doesn't do anything. It's not being used at all to do anything to anybody in the foreground. So just because you see it, maybe, and I didn't see it. Somebody supposedly posted a picture I saw online. I didn't see that. I looked, but I spent 15, 20 minutes looking and I was like, screw this. I'm not hunting to see if there is a millisecond of something back there that I can bitch about. Good God. If you're doing that, get a life. Sorry. But this, when you go forward in it, you start to see the details and the color. So the very next scene, first of all, there's part of the next scene I cannot show you, because it's where Arnold is walking up to the group of punk rock guys with, damn, I just totally lost his name, Bill Paxton. When he's walking up to them, somebody turned the lights on so much, you see his little Austrian oak swinging back and forth in pretty good detail. Like, I was like, whoa, I can't show that. And I've certainly never seen that before. Not like that. And I wasn't looking for it, but it's like, whoa, there you go. Change the rating. But when you get to that next spot, that's when you're going to see. Now, I don't think they changed a lot of the color treatment in here. I think the 4K brought out the color better, because when he walks up under those harsh lights, they're like fluorescent lights or something out there, his skin tones in the Blu-ray are for absolute shit. He is greenish yellow, harsh light on him. It is not good. He has nice skin tone. The skin tones in this are way nicer, especially under the bad lighting like that, the harsh lighting. when they walk up together, the skin tones, it is totally different. And it's not like they overdid the skin tones or whatever. They just look appropriate now. They don't look greened out, which I get it. A lot of times with sci-fi movies, there's a green tint to them overall. This falls in sci-fi horror to me. This might as well be a slasher, in my opinion, that is also sci-fi. But you can see the color is just way more natural looking. He doesn't look green. I mean, he doesn't look like the Hulk. It's the greenish yellow, and that is gone throughout. They have much more pleasing skin tones throughout here. My hat's itching me. Much more pleasing skin tones. It's very apparent in that scene. And then when you go forward, you start to notice the details. And I'm going to talk about this next section right here. This is in the daylight. This is when he walks up to the first Sarah Connor and just says, "Sarah Connor," and she says yes, and he shoots her. In the 4K is so clear that you can see in the reflection of Arnold's eye when she opens the door, you can see the light bank back there that's putting light on him. And you may not be able to pick it up on here, but if you got a big enough TV and you walk up to it, in the reflection in his eye, you see like the camera guy or something standing back there too. It is crazy the amount of detail. And in the Blu-ray, you see just a little bit of light, like reflecting in his eye, and that's it. It's indiscernible. Now, that's not something you need to see. You don't need to see that. It just is a example of how the 4K is so clear and crisp and bright. And take a look at that section. I think I talk about it right here.
It's so clear. If you look really close right here, you won't be able to see it maybe on this picture of my screen. You can see the light bank and someone standing back there, probably a camera guy, in his eyes, a reflection in his eyes.
So, I mean, it's just one of those things. It looks really good. And then when you go outside, you can still see film grain present during the day. And I kind of point this out a little bit as Arnold is getting in the car, as Linda Hamilton is driving the motorcycle and going into work. You can still see some film grain during the day in this 4K. So that, man, if you first of all, film grain starts to disappear if you balance your camera correctly and you don't overexpose it outside during the day. Film grain starts to get minimized because just the amount of light. If you overexpose it, the other thing will happen. You'll get way too much film grain. But the film grain was nice, and it stayed there. What you saw on the Blu-ray is there on the 4K. So if they had DNR'd it at all, because it always gets minimized in daylight, if they had done too much DNR on that, it would have stuck out like a sore thumb. But it doesn't. You see, especially if you go frame by frame, you can see the damn grain. The grain moving in the frame by frame. And so it's there. And then another really good scene, a tough scene on the Blu-ray. It still looks pretty good, but the tough scene on the Blu-ray when compared to the 4K is when Sarah is in the club and she's waiting. She just called the police and she's waiting on the policeman to get there. And Arnold comes through because you have this foggy, dark atmosphere with all these colors and from the neon lights and stuff, kind of like a smoke-filled room with a lot of people, a lot of changing light, and it just looks so good on the 4K. It's not bad on the Blu-ray, but man, is it more crisp and nice on this 4K. And then how do the visual effects look? We talked about the lightning. They did a good job of smoothing that in so it didn't stick out like it was filmed separately, like some kind of sore thumb. But the effects are a little bit dated. So like the part where he takes his eyeball out and fixes his face up and then puts the sunglasses on, it still looks good. It doesn't make it look any more dated than it did before. And then when you go into the police station, a lot of what happens in the police station, this is where I heard some people say this was where the DNR was apparent. I didn't see that. I really didn't. I think they used a little bit of light DNR probably on all of the nighttime scenes. but there's still film grain there. And if you're going to take the time, if you're going to be the same person that takes the time to pixel peep for some random millisecond of someone in the background to see if they used AI to see if their face looks distorted or something like that to get in and all that and complain about it, you better take the time to stop and go through frame by frame and look at the film grain that is still there before you start screaming they DNR'd it all out. Because that's bullshit. It's still there. You can still see. And I do think they use some light DNR to crispy it up. I really do. But if there's still film grain present, I mean, come on, man. Like, what do you want? Because you got people on one side that hate film grain altogether. So I feel like he's trying to walk that line between the two to make it look good, but still hold on to the filmic quality. And then when you look at the two scenes, the famous I'll be back scene, they both look good. The 4K just has more detail. It just has more detail. And overall, I mean, it is a worthy upgrade. I mean, you're talking about under $40. I don't even know how much it is now. I think you can get the slipcover version for like $28.99. I'm not sure about the Steelbook. It keeps going in and out of stock. I'll link all that stuff on Amazon, whatever's there. If you guys want to check it out, take a look at it. But I think it's totally worth it. I'm a huge Terminator fan. People are going to hate on this because it has become fashionable and trendy to hate on James Cameron and anything he does. And it's really sad because most of the people that are doing that, they have no clue about filmmaking other than the buzzwords they've seen. Now, everybody has a damn right to look at something and decide whether they like it or not. But when you have absolutely no experience or no background and you start going on there and telling James Cameron where he screwed up and what's wrong and everything, no matter what, and you only pick out the things that are wrong, cherry picking stuff to bullshit and bitch about, that ain't it, Chief. And I mean, like, what are we doing at that point? Like, if it's obvious, like Terminator 2 had obvious problems and they obviously screwed up, you know, but other things are stylistic choices. And this doesn't have any big changes. Hell, even the scene where Reese is in the phone booth and he's looking for Sarah Connor in there, you can just see the mushy lack of detail nature in the Blu-ray and the absolute night and day difference in the 4K. And you would trade that to complain that somewhere, and I couldn't find it. I looked for a half hour, y'all. Somewhere in the background, some extra walking by looked like their face may have been distorted for a millisecond because they tried to use AI to regain a little detail in the background. I mean, come on. If it's even there, you know, some people put out misinformation because they just want to hate on it. I'm just going to tell you what I think. I think it's worth the upgrade, especially if you're you're a big Arnold fan like me. I mean, I'm a huge Arnold fan, but I will tell you if I think something sucks, and I'll tell you why I think it sucks and why maybe it is that way. The same I will tell you if I think it's good, and I think what they did to make it look that way from a filmmaking standpoint, along with being a fan, not just, oh man, hype train, I hate it. Oh man, hype train, I love it. No, I'm going to give you the facts, and I'm going to show you the best I can to back up what I'm saying, not just to hate it for clicks or like it for clicks. I won't do that. Nobody sends me anything for free. I damn sure didn't get this for free. I ordered this thing way a long time ago. I am proud to have it. And I think it's definitely worth the upgrade. I'll link it all down below. But that's just a little quick look. If you're wondering, since it just hit, if it's worth it, I think it's 100% worth it. I think it's an upgrade. It's like somebody turned the lights on, to quote what Brian said about the American Pie. I think that's a good way to describe it. And you know what? Brian's a filmmaker too. So there you go. But if you've enjoyed this, we do all kinds of things here. 4K reviews, physical media news, lists, rankings, hauls, chasing the wild videos, all kinds of stuff. If you enjoy that, please like and subscribe and spread the pop culture word. Share the channel. Let's get it all out there. Really do appreciate it. It super helps out the channel. If you want to help support the channel, you can join at my Patreon link or right here on YouTube. I can just do a little more on Patreon and they take a little less. That's the only difference. And otherwise, you get access to behind the scenes of my filmmaking. See how I do shit. You get short films I've done, special members only videos, all kinds of stuff, little peeks into my life. I just did one where I invited everybody into my Halloween party, took everybody through and showed our Halloween party. Just a lot of fun. Of course, your name and lights here and so much more. And I really do appreciate it. But until next time, be kind, rewind like always. This is Chase with AV Pop Culture, and I'll be back. I'll see you real soon. Bye-bye.